Think I'm even unmuted this time. Let's see. Do I hear myself? I am unmuted. Excellent. Hello, everybody. Look at that. On time, and I didn't even boomer it yet. There's still time. I am Frost, and this is Frost Written, where we work on the Legend Seeker lore. Live and in your living room or wherever the hell you're sitting right now. Car, you better not be watching me in the car. Well, you can watch me in the car. Just don't comment while you're in the car, okay? Okay. I'm looking at you. Let's see, Erudi. Let's see, Kyle's done that, I think. Yeah, all you people driving and commenting. No. Don't do that. Excellent. Brian C says it's 106 outside right now. Wow. That's impressive. Do you have is it Yellowstone volcano going off and shooting heat up towards you or something? What's going on there? Anyway, as long as Brian C doesn't melt, we're good. But yes, we're going to work on, like I said, on Tuesday, we're going to work on what I'm now calling the Umbral Atoll. It may end up having a slightly different name, but I'm going with that because it's supposed to be a dark, mysterious, crazy, dangerous, primal place. This is kind of a throwback to the idea of like the Isle of Dread, Land of the Lost, Primal, any of those kind of places where you expect like deserts on the coasts, little beaches, but also volcanoes and jungles and dinosaurs and magic and lost civilizations. All those things. All this in the eye of a hurricane that never, ever, ever goes away. And also encircled in coral and basalt spike reefs. So, very horrifying place to get to, but really cool stuff there. Yeah, I think Kaio did it. I may be getting him in trouble, but maybe it was just him, doing some DUI stuff instead. I don't know. One of the two. Maybe both. Yes, very isolated. All right, I'm going to close. I have to close the window here so my machine works a little better. There we go. So, I'm calling it the Umbral Atoll because it is a very dark place, and there's a couple of reasons. And I've thrown some of this past Erudi. He hasn't gotten back to me yet saying yes or no. But the idea is, this place is all of those things I explained. It has, old calderas and volcanoes. Since it's an atoll, it actually had, volcanic activity that, sunk, and the caldera is now part of the area. And this, I want to have be the island place where the Keeper Vault is, that if you know the lore, where Grix found the secret to the God Killer weapon. So this place holds that vault. And it's inside this storm because Thalassia, the person who her whole kingdom was destroyed of her followers by Grix, she wanted this place hidden. So she started this massive storm that will never go away. This hurricane is ever present, and it's been going for 500 years to 1,000 years now. It just does not stop. It is there, ever present, and it will always shroud this place. In addition, the other idea I threw out there is, if you know the other part of the lore, what Grix did, he talked a lost kind of like civilization that was way out in the middle of nowhere and nobody really talked to into becoming the Soul Forged. This is where they came from. So their ruins of their cities and things are still here. But all the people, those people are gone. So there are tribes here. And somebody mentioned barbarians last time. And I was like, yep, I want barbarians. Because anyone who is shipwrecked and gets dragged into this place and actually survives becomes one of those barbarian people, or becomes prey to the barbarian tribes if they don't join them. So there's going to be a few different tribes. Right now I'm working on one that's like just an idea of an ash tribe that is really into all the, the volcanic spirits and, fire and ash and all those fun things. Possibly a spider clan, like a giant, like there's a massive giant spider, like their god that lives on the island with all its offspring, and a snake clan. So really primal, islandy kind of things I think could be really fun to play with. It might be a little too grand, but we'll see. We'll see. You pay I pay my taxes for roads. Oh, that's really bad. Yeah, and barbarians with psionic links to dino riders. I think having dino riders in here is going to be a really cool aspect. And imagine if one of these barbarians ever left and got off of this island and went back to the mainland, how crazy they think the place is. So, you just heard the song for that commercial? Dino Riders! Dun, 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 dun. Very nice. Harness the power. Oh my gosh. So, one of the things I'm going to show you here, and Erudi may, come on here and yell at me and say, you're a dork, don't do that. I worked on a map because I got really inspired by this area, and I used the program, I paid for it, and you can use it to make things. I'm using it to just brainstorm right now, but it came up with a fun little map of this atoll, and I'm playing around with scale and ideas and stuff, and just places where I could put things. So, I'm going to show you a little bit of it, and then I can show you the program, just a part of the program I'm using. I'm not showing the whole thing. But basically, I came up with a rough idea of this really spiky island that has all this crazy stuff that's sitting. The hurricane, I don't have any of that stuff on here because this is part of a much larger area, but this is a massive island. This thing is like 120 miles long. It's not a small place, and you would not be able to explore it really quickly. Massive, the underwater volcano calderas that have collapsed out in the areas out here. You can see the water's a little deeper. There's one over here too, but there's this big important island in the center. This thing, there's ruins and things scattered around. So I'm having fun with planning like where things could be on this little island, and all the little barriers and all the little reefs and all the little bits and pieces and stuff. So that's what I'm doing with all the little story bits I talked about, with the dinosaurs and possibly the barbarians and the different shipwrecks and all the bits and pieces of things that are hidden in this crazy place that the gods don't want people going to if they can help it. But they can't necessarily stop them because they've stepped outside the world. And the Keeper's Vault is still there if anybody is stupid enough to want to try and go there, which there are people who would want to do that because people are stupid. But one of the things I'm doing is I'm using this program. You can't hear the word atoll without remembering the area from one of the Monkey Island games called Nuttin' Atoll. I can't believe you don't like that. But I will show you this really quickly. I just took a screenshot of it, but this is the actual program I'm using. I have a much larger area that I was working on with the entire atoll. But I decided to go and focus on just this. So you can see I'm going in pretty far in here and just noting a couple little ruins where a few specific items would be, and ideas like different places where, the spider people or whoever would be hooked on things, and where the likely spot for the Keeper's Vault would be underneath this part down here where the actual volcano is, this really active little island here. So I'm having a lot of fun just playing around with the ideas right now. Boop. I'm gonna go back to the dock here. The rest of the archipelago would have stuff going on. I'm not sure if the rest of that whole archipelago would actually be something we'd use or not. I roughed it all in because I wanted it to be just this massive, massive thing. And I'll go back to it here. And I made it huge. I mean, this thing, 60 miles. Each one of these hexes is 60 miles. This thing is just astoundingly huge. And this is the island I wanted to kind of focus on for this area. So it's possible none of the rest of this stuff will even exist, and it might just be this area, these islands in the deep water, and maybe some scattered little big, coral reefs and things that people could land on, but there's nothing useful there. That's why I said I'm literally doing this for kind of the brainstorming, and that's kind of why I focused in on a tighter area. Doesn't have the fifth sense, a sense of humor. Oh, that's not nice. She's coming for you now. So let's see. I just got a message. There we go. I'm putting the tribes down here so I can note these. Let me check this message and see what I got. Knowing my luck is probably Calvino. He probably went out and bought himself a phone and is outside texting me saying, "Can I come back in and sit on your lap now? It's been like 10 minutes." No, it was not Calvino texting me. Yay! So, the stuff that I'm working on now is not only the idea of these tribes that would be living in these ruins that are kind of like facing, you know, these big gods or whatever they call them. They're not real gods, they're just these massive monsters. They constantly fight over their territory, so you could have all kinds of fun barbarian tribes fighting over things while you're trying to get the knowledge of like, where the hell is this place? But it's also, since it's a keeper's vault, it is incredibly well guarded. Stuff that made gods scared to go there. So people going there, this would be super high level stuff. It would not be low level adventure unless there was a low level adventure to land there, do stuff, realize the place is just absolutely crazy, and the whole point of the adventure is to, like, say there's a group of people there that actually has a boat and you have to convince them that you get on it, but they need supplies and you have to do supply runs and do, you know, some kind of a mini adventure where you get things to actually get off of the island again, but then you know where it is, so maybe later in another adventure you could come back. Or if you find out how to work things on one of the areas, you might be able to use the pylons to set up like a teleportation spot, so you might know I can teleport back here if I want to, which would be pretty amazing and incredibly dangerous. Yeah, an escape could be kind of fun, especially if there was something happening that happened all the time. I had toyed with the idea of the hurricane that constricts and expands, so it gets, you know, storms all across the island all the time. But I want these pylons and all these other things to be wreaking havoc with the atmosphere, because not only did the gods do things here, Grix messed things up, the keepers had things they were doing here too. So these pylons, if you can figure out how to work them, like in the Land of the Lost stuff, you can actually locally change the weather. You can do crazy things to the whole island, or at least the area around these pylons. You can do all kinds of crazy stuff, like turn creatures mad, make them all go crazy, you know, do lightning storms, attract meteors out of the sky or something. So the possibilities are kind of endless, but this is supposed to be that crazy kind of high level stuff. Low-level adventures are Chrysanth's specialty. Wow, fantastic. You came out with buckshot in your shotgun today. Can have challenge and depth, so the danger you travel, or deeper you travel inland, the more insane and dangerous the threats grow. Yeah, exactly. If you're going in towards this main mountain where a lot of volcanic activity and all the really amazing stuff is, like the crazy ore, some of the cities of the people are still here, and getting to those places, you could actually even find the spot where Grix turned everybody into the Soul Forge and still find remnants of all that stuff there and the chaos and everything that happened, which is because the barbarians don't go there on purpose. Fantastic did choose violence. The pylon is basically a mod wrench. Exactly. You can do all kinds of nutty things. I thought it would be actually really cool if you could use those pylons, but, you know, it had quite a cost. Like, you had to go find the cool, whatever it is, like not crystals or whatever, gems or something that actually power these things, but you had to go find them, or you had to find special keys, or you had to find special incantations. Maybe you have to go around and mess around with them. And it's possible that, you know, some of them are guarded by barbarian tribes. They're like, what do you want with that? That's our rock. We don't know what it does, but don't you touch it. And they've got it all set up, or maybe it's become a burial ground. You have to walk through it, and you're like, oh, let's go through the barbarian burial ground to go touch the big rock. This won't end well. We got lots of ideas. Got lots of ideas. Like I said, I was so excited about this. I didn't want to start writing this stuff down, but I did do about 10 paragraphs of stuff at lunch today, and I made this map at lunch today. I was just like, yes! Because this program is pretty easy to use, and once I figured out how to use it, it went pretty smoothly. Yeah, you can run into the keeper stuff. And so I haven't decided if the keeper stuff is literally in the center here or if it's on this little island. It's possible this little island here is where one of the bigger pylons is, And that's why this volcanic area is all messed up down here, because they were using it to like draw in meteors and stuff just to try things out, and they were like pulling meteors down in and it's crashing into the volcanoes, causing eruptions and stuff. Who knows? Possibilities are just all over the place. But I also want the weather to be just, you know, a factor here, because, you know, it's, you don't want it to make it unfun for people. But if you can actually change the weather with the pylons, it would be kind of fun to say, hey, we need to go through this area, and it is a superstorm right now. There's just like a tsunami of rain coming down, but it's localized to this area because of the pylon. We need to get to it and turn that sucker off so we can actually get through this area, which would be pretty fun, I think. Long as you have a way to counter it and a way to do something about it, it's not going to be an ever-present danger that's just going to be like, well, okay, we're going through our 7th day of mud. No fun. And I think a pylon wouldn't be able to fill, you know, it might be able to control like an entire hex here. And I arbitrarily have this at 20 miles because I wanted to make it a really big island, but it could be like 10 miles to a hex if it's too big. Let's just see. It's all brainstorming right now, so I'll go with, let's say Centralo. That could be fun. There we go. I'll fix that. Whoop. I like how Word doesn't like the phrase have to. Whenever I put that in, it always says, maybe you should use some concise language and use the word must. Like, nope. I mean have to. You lost your shotgun in an unfortunate boating accident. I'm so sorry, Fantastic Sarcastic. That is sad. So sad. So tragic. You know how it goes, though. It happens. Let's see. There was something else. I've got to find another note that I sent here, because I sent something to Erudi about this earlier. Okay. Here we go. I'm going to put this stuff here. I'm just going to copy these in here at the moment. So I sent a big wall of text, but I'll just make it a little less. Space that out. I think it'd be kind of fun too if there's the magic here is a little wild. Okay. Boop. And we hit. Okay, there we go. Now I got it saved. A war in the jungle between two tribes would be so much fun. I mean, coming across something like that where, you know, you have the Ash tribe fighting the Spider tribe or something, you know, throwing fire and things back and forth with their totem gods or whatever the heck they have. And maybe they even have elementals on their side against these crazy monster jungle spiders. It could be a lot of fun. Oh, the other thing I want to have on this island, definitely, and also across this whole archipelago, are something like a bullywug. So some kind of an islandy version of these guys. And they can have surface, little floating surface. And I thought it'd be really cool to have floating like surface, like small clusters of like raft boat things where they have a top city. But they have a hole underneath to it too, like it goes down, like things hang down like stalactites from it, but also they could actually be anchored to the bottom if it's not free floating, and they can have a whole underwater aquaculture, you know, the Bullywug area down there. That'd be just kind of fun, especially if they have access to things like water breathing spells for people or potions, and so they're like, oh yeah, we make those all the time for, you know, people who come to visit us and trade. So here, take one of these, drink it, and come on down and we'll treat you to something in our Bullywood Tavern. Or you can go, the good merchandise is underwater, you know. The feds. Troglodytic lizard men called the Roulons. Yeah, a whole half-molten area with all kinds of stuff there, especially if the Ash Tribe barbarians kind of work on that. Especially, they would especially love it, but you could have a pylon there too that can control, maybe it controls some of the magma and the lava, and you can make it, you know, recede and change and erupt a little more. Kind of fun. Kermit the Fed. Oh my gosh. I don't think we'd necessarily be able to get away with the fake Kermit name, but if we can come up with something, we could come up with something similar. I had to put a smiley face in there. There, got a smiley face. I'm putting my disclaimer for myself in here, always to change. Oops. Why did I put that word in there? Okay. I have 3 different sets of thoughts going on in my head. One is a little short story I'm writing, one is this stuff, and one was a work thing, and I just put a work term in the middle of this, and I'm like, what? Because I just got a message over there. Because work never ends. Oh, that's right. I'm going to make a point here of this. So yeah, there's a little bit of the idea of, you know, Monster Island kind of thing here. It would be kind of interesting if one of these pylons was the reason that the dino riders could actually communicate with their dinos. So how about I type that right, though? That could be fun. I'm just going to note that one. Oh, whole thing in there. All right. Why is that resetting that? That just makes... I'll just leave it like this. I'll just give it a tab. Nope, I'm not on that line. Why is it? Let's go back to this line. Try it again. Nope, it's going to do it every time. Huh. Carriage returns are not my friend today. I'll just do this, and I'll pull this back. All right, so I'm leaving that there, leaving that there. I have this all set up for a very specific manuscript format for when I'm writing books, and sometimes it doesn't like the way I take notes. Ruins are powered by geothermal energy, which is why there's lava flow, but the culture is degenerated, so they worship the volcano, and their advanced technology is magic. Shh, Disney owns Dino Riders now. No, Genofuria, it's gonna go all crazy. I also, in addition to the bullywugs, I want there to be like a race of basically, cavemen, Neanderthals, something like that. Just brutal, crazy primal monkey men. I'll just say they war with everybody. They indiscriminately hate everyone. We'll go with that. Ape men. Yeah, I was just watching a little bit more, or rewatching Primal last night because I just wanted to go watch it again, and it's a really, really fun show. It gets a little crazy near the end. Didn't like the way it ended, but the Primal kind of monkey guys who are just like, they want food, they want to protect their things, and they just go crazy when those things are threatened, and their little monkey brains are like, no, give me my things. Yeah, I hated the ending. It was just like but I think they'd be a lot of fun, and especially if the barbarians are like, yeah, we're the tough barbarian tribe, and they're like, ooh, somebody pissed off those monkey guys. Okay, why don't we go hunt a bunch of stuff and leave some meat over there for them? Maybe they'll leave us alone, because when they get going, nobody wants to deal with them. Or they just fight them anyway, and they're like, yeah, whatever, they're monkey men, and there's a lot of them, and we're going to lose people, but that's what we do! We fight! Alright, geothermal stuff I noted, so boom, that's in there. Yeah, so what I put in the beginning here, it's a place of legend. People whisper about it in ports everywhere. They're like, oh yeah, we're gonna send to the Umbrella Atoll. And it is really there. It does exist. It's a real place, and few people do know that it exists, but there are stories for a reason. All those legends are rooted in a tiny little kernel of truth. You have to pass through Thalassa's Ire. That's the eternal magical hurricane she put there. And through what I'm calling the Dead Breaks, which is just massive upheavals from all the activity here of basalt spikes, like basalt columns, those normal giant causeway things are erupted everywhere where lava comes up and it meets the ocean. It's rapidly cooled into those pillars. But with all the oceanic activity, they've split and broken, so it's just like jagged spears of basalt for, hundreds of miles everywhere, just poking out of the water at random places. But also that's all surrounded by half submerged and like lightly submerged coral. So getting through there is just, yeah, good luck, especially with the storm you're coming out of. And then people, might be able to get in there through there if they're clever enough and have a shallow enough draft, possibly. But I also have some notes in here about people joking that it's a place the gods forgot, because that's why there's still the monster creatures, the massive dinosaurs, spiders the size of a house that the people worship. But a bunch of sailors, a lot of sailors, in fact, think this is like a purgatorium. It's like an actual purgatory for those claimed by the ocean. And this is something, having to do with Mordecai and Thalassa. But that's not really true, but they believe that it's, they've heard whispered stories of like, if you're swallowed by the sea, there's a good chance if you lived a bad life, you're going to live on this island. You're going to have to atone for your sins before you go into the afterlife. So people whisper about, he's on the Umbrella Atoll now. We'll see, because he was a nasty, nasty person. We'll see how he fares. Kind of like their idea of like, it's a Valhalla, but not necessarily like a glorious Valhalla. It's like, you go down there, good luck. But that's why I said also the real truth behind the place is even more terrifying, because this is literally where the knowledge of the God Killer weapon was found. If there's geothermal activity, the ocean around it would boil in areas, and I think that's something definitely in this center area where there's still geothermal activity, and also in the center of the island, because you'll have hot springs, and that'll be a cool thing for like whichever groups kind of deal with things. There could be, like we have in the Caustic Strand, there could be a place where dragons go, but there may not be dragons on this island. It may be all dinosaurs, large creatures, so maybe they use the hot springs and everything to, keep their young warm or hibernate or not hibernate, but what am I trying to say? Yeah, when you make the eggs warm, do that thing. Something, something, something. There's a word for it. We used to do it with our chicks when you make them all warm. It would probably suck balls if you end up shipwrecked here. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. You can't have everyone finding out you have the best hot springs. Yes, incubate. I was like, it's bait, but and I kept coming up intubate. I'm like, nope, we're not intubating the chickens. Excellent. You guys are on the case. By the way, hello, DCV Titan. I don't think I said hello. But yeah, this is a place where all kinds of crazy stuff can happen. And I mean, if you know that that's where they incubate eggs, you could be like, we're going to get a dinosaur egg. We know what it means, but we know where they're at. So getting them is half the battle. Knowing where they are is the other half of the battle. So that will be interesting. Oh, I gotta throw B into kick chat. Boom. Hey, Chrysanthemum, by the way, that Discord message, why does it have that capital D on another line with a bunch of underscores or something after it? That's weird. It just looks weird. Anyway, back to the crazy island of madness. And I put a few things in here. It's not going to really work there. I'll go back to the map here and show you this. I put a few things in here that, like I said, they're kind of like I just put a ruins up here on a big plateau, so it's got these massive plateaus up in the mountains. Because the underscore is how I separate my notes and I highlighted too much. Oh, got it. Okay. I thought you were just being all cool with some kind of clever thing. You didn't have to tell me it was a mistake. But you're so honest. So yeah, I put some plateaus where these things would be up above the jungle floor. Because the idea, of having those cool jungle rises and you go up through and there's like this massive old staircase or ramp that was built all the way up the side of this plateau from this old ancient civilization that's just completely overgrown, and you come up over the rise out of the canopy of trees and you're like, whoa, we're on a plateau with even more trees that go up even higher, that you can look down over the canopy of the jungle and be like, whoa, and you see a tree move or something down there, you're like, ooh, something big's moving. I think the vistas and things you could get on an island like this that's so rocky could be just amazing. It'd be a lot of fun. And especially, if we do little things on these other little islands too, like putting extra stuff out here, extra stuff out there. Like I said, I haven't filled all these islands in, but I was playing around with them, the whole atoll. And they could be just pieces that come off of here too. Like I could move some of these islands around. Smash them here, smash them there. It could be fun. It could be exciting. Wizard power. Hey, Savage Shock. Did you guys know that JT made a song for me? Yeah, with the AI songwriting stuff. It's pretty amazing. I like it. I don't know if it's as good as some of the other songs he's done, but it's pretty good. I liked it. Wow, that's a very friendly bot. Hello, homie. They evidently love my streaming skills. Oh, look, it's not a bot. I like at best when those bots, like the ones that come and kick, tell you, oh, trust me, bro, I am not a bot, bro. And then they ask me the same list of questions that all the bots ask in the exact order. I'm like, though I did have one person come into a stream who started asking me the same kind of questions. I'm like, oh, okay, whatever. And they're like, no, seriously, I'm not actually a bot. See, I can explain, and they talked about things, and they actually talk like a normal person after a little bit, and they're like, so no, and here's this and that and everything. And I'm like, oh wow, you just started off, and they're like, yeah, I don't know, like it's just icebreakers. I'm like, there's a reason that people use those things for bots, I guess. Yeah. The response to you, Savage Talk, was yeah. The center deep water could hold something very interesting. Yeah, I had plans for something interesting. I thought it'd be cool since we talked about like merfolk and the Sahagin, however you pronounce her name. I never got it right ever. And all those other creatures. It'd be cool if one of those things was hiding down there, like what I was considering like an aboleth type creature, the things that destroyed Delas's people. And I'm like, ooh, that'd be kind of a fun thing to have down there. Just a highly skilled bot. I'm not a bot. Where do you come from? Not a bot. Let's see. We're going on to Chrysanthemum Savage Talker. Like, hey, where's Kyle and Commander N to chat with this person? They like doing that in the Discord. Yes, she does have access to the wizard's emojis. She was my first subscriber when I got monetized over on Kick, which was awesome. Let's see. Where was that? There was another note that I had. Let me see. Did I put it in here? Oh, I did copy it over already. Oh, okay. There it is. There it is. You need to redo that thumbnail. Correct. Wait. You need to wait. Why do you need to be nice to JT now, Chrysanth? You're right. They do. They're teaching that thing way too much in Discord. They're crazy. Okay, that note for those guys. Totally not a bot. I am typing in Tolkien. Well, no, you maybe should get your eyes checked. I think everybody else can read it perfectly, can't they? Maybe not. All right, the monkey guys. Bum. I think it'd be kind of fun to have some kind of a legendary thing in there, like a legendary forge or legendary piece of magical machinery in the volcano or one of the ruins that can only be operated by somebody of those bloodlines that lived here. And so it literally requires somebody to have a soul forge, the soul of a soul forge, to operate this thing. And so they'd need some kind of a spiritual lineage, basically. That's interesting. All right, we'll do that. What do I say? I don't know what to say. I'm a horrible troll. I make up some bad puns occasionally, but that's about it. That's exactly what a bot would say, Danielle 5W76. Right? More puns. No, I don't want to drive Crescent the way she's moderating you miscreants right now. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. So more. Oh, that's what I was going to write down. I never wrote down the idea of the bullywugs. Floating cities. Okay, there we go. Exactly, Nozaku boy. It's interesting. It's quite interesting. I think having the bullywugs be kind of like a what would you call it? Like a species that's all over the place, but most everybody's like, yeah, we trade with them, we get fish for our village, we do this for them. But the bullywugs know everything that's going on because there's so many of them. And they probably, you know, travel and talk and move around in different circles than the people on land. So they probably are the keepers of a lot of like rumors and knowledge around the area. So they probably do know where quite a few things are under the ocean. Okay, there we go. Yeah, so I had some of them being nomadic, but I think they should have a couple of big cities or big raft things that are anchored. But I think it would be perfectly cool and fine and kind of interesting for smaller tribes, like a collection of, you know, 100 of these little guys that live on their own little floating thing and they navigate it around. Like if the hurricane is rotating a certain way out there, it probably creates like light currents around the whole place. So there's probably a current, like a clockwise current, because this is just north of the equator and on the equator. So it's going to have I guess a clockwise, or would it have a counterclockwise? It would have whatever current. I can't remember which way I have them going. I think with the rotation of the Earth, I'd have to look at my map again. But whatever way, they could probably float through complex currents and trade winds and things around these islands, you know, kind of doing circuits every once in a while. It'd be kind of fun. This chat is a normal stream chat. They kick controlling by. Yeah. Stop trying to set us up the bomb. Oh. No, see, now Savage Talk is going to be in a good mood the rest of the day. Oh, the only ones who know how to bootleg swap hooch. I like there being some kind of I love giving races and groups their own unique foods and alcohols and medicines and stuff. I think them having some kind of very unique, potent, kind of a grog they make out of whatever it is they're going to make it out of. I'm thinking here, it could be cool if it was something like abalone, or something that has a really crazy color to it, like it's deep dark purple. And so like when you're a kid and you'd have like a purple popsicle, your whole mouth and tongue would be all purple or blue or whatever. You drink that and you get, little stains, kind of like eating blueberry juice or so. So you can tell when people have been hitting the sauce a little much. I think that'd be kind of fun. It could be blue, I guess. I mean, abalone was used to make things purple, right? Or was it made to make things blue? Was it indigo? Maybe they have more than one color, too. Just mark that there. I know somebody out there is going to say, you're just being stereotypical and racist. Because somebody's going to say something about, what is it, purple drink? Like, no, it's just abalone makes things bluish purple. There you go. Who's derived from abalone? That's a wild idea. Yeah, I'm trying all kinds of crazy stuff. Don't give the absence of the frog people. I've had bullywugs on my mind because... Oh, I got a message. Who is this from? Oops. I can type. I've just been doing it. Yeah, that didn't work. Okay, let me send this. Boom. All right. Let's see if I can find my phone, my pictures. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to see this one, but this was me at work today. Oh wait, that's me with Calvino stuck on my lap, sleeping with my hand on his tummy, scratching him while I tried to work, and him holding onto my counter, my desk. I had to move the keyboard away because he kept reaching up and grabbing the space bar. But that's not what I wanted to show you. The reason that I had bullywugs on the mind so much is that outside my window, I have a hydroponic garden where I grow like basil and small things like strawberries and things. I don't have anything growing in it right now, but I have a grow light above it. And that grow light casts this wild purple, and outside that attracts moths and stuff. And when it's warm out, the little frogs that live out in this area, these little tiny frogs about this big, come up and stick themselves to the window and just feast on bugs. So I just leave the light on all the time during the summer. So the moths all come into the window and all the bugs come into the window and they're just like feast, feast, feast. So these little guys were all over my windows down here in the exposed part of the basement. And they're tiny. They're these little tiny frogs. They're about the size of my thumb. And they're just all over the window. And they're just happily eating bugs. They're fun. They're so cool. They don't, when they're up on there, I don't hear them making any noise at all. But I think they're the ones that make all the noise out in the grass. Little peepers, yep. Yeah, don't tell Caleb. Exactly, I'm not going to tell Caleb. He'll probably come over and hit me over the head with something. That's fine. Ooh, swamp algae. Yeah, that could work too. I mean, there could be a number of brews. Maybe that's one of the things that they trade to the barbarians, because the barbarians are like, we don't know how to make this, so give it, give it, give it. Like maybe they have like specific little hot like vents and things down under the water. You know those thermal vents where those like shrimp and things live around them that would normally get incinerated by normally creatures get incinerated. They're just like, I'm happy down here. This is hot, but it's great. Maybe in those areas they have like big, I don't know what they would be, like those big seaweed what are they called? The little floats and seaweeds and stuff. They kind of cut those things out, hollow them out like a gourd, and pop them full of stuff, and then tie them down there with ropes and weigh them down with rocks and let them sit there and ferment in that heat, and that's how they make the algae drink. I'll just say, it's hot. Get them on my front door in the summer. Ah, you call them Kermitkin. Yeah, exactly. I think that would be that's a great point, Nozaku boy. Like, nobody wants to hurt these guys. They're like, if you attack the little frogmen, nobody gets to drink. I call them bullywigs. No, how about I put the red letter in there? Bullywugs. Oh, a couple of days in that sentence. That doesn't work. Oh, you were talking to Chrysanthemum about her frogs. Oh, Currentkin. Ha. Yeah, those things, I think they're rich in sulfur. So one of the other things I want to put in my brain here is I want to have massive waterfalls. I want to have massive drop-offs. And some really beautiful, like those little blue lagoons and blue little areas at the base of waterfalls, you know, because this is going to be basically this is Hawaii tropical island kind of feel for parts of the island, where it's the beautiful parts as opposed to the desolate parts that have been scarred by magic and stuff. And while the magic is wild, you're gonna find a lot of exotic animals and a lot of exotic things here. So it's gonna be pretty cool and incredibly dangerous. But one of the things I want to put in here are just massive, you know, big, like this long army ants and fire ants. So Erudi can, you know, step in a hill of them. It'll be great. Let's just say I'm proportionate. As Morpheus says, show me. What? Picture the we got. Double barrel crossbows. Make the frog people drunks and demolitionists. Yeah, I don't know if they're going to be clever enough to be making explosives, but they could probably make all kinds of things from all that sulfur, like pretty useful stuff like medicines and whatnot. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe that will work out. Fishing with crude dynamite. Worked for the IRA. Oh, Crescent worked for the IRA. I thought you just said worked for the IRA. Wow. Wow. You people, you're crazy. Savage Talk is having too much fun. I love it. I do literally love the idea of big fire ants, though. I think that would be really cool. No, nothing's too dark. Let's see here. And like I said, these barbarian tribes have been here for a long time, and a lot of them forgot where they came from and all that. But if you get shipwrecked here, you have, like I said, a few choices. Some people probably hang out with the bullywugs. Some people are probably like, I can't stomach a life of barbarian tribesmen. But any rough and tumble people either maybe get enslaved by the barbarians, or they get brought in and like, hey, prove yourself. All right, you're part of the tribe. And they become part of what those groups, and there's like, hey, new blood. Yes. Excellent. And it's possible that if there are some spots where ships normally will come aground, it's our tribe got here first, back off, and they have a big fight over one of the prime areas. And they're like, okay, the tide's coming in the next, 2 weeks or 3 weeks. If we find anybody, they're ours. You guys stay back. And they have big fights over them. If there are different areas, they're probably non-contested areas too. But there could be some fun dynamics there. I'm all about making people butt heads for whatever they want, their resources. Yeah, you don't have to be too scientific about it at all. Yep. Bioethanol could be made safe to drink for humans. These are frogs. Fermenting algae. Yeah, that's true. The people do use that to make biofuel, don't they? Well, it's like the wood alcohol, grain alcohol. There's some old blind frogs with a lot of purple around their mouths just sitting there drinking all day. But maybe some of the other people are okay, and maybe who knows? Maybe some of these little groups have an artificer, a scientifically minded person who landed there and is helping them to refine it. Maybe they make a new kind of alcohol or something. Could be fun. A demon within an army of fire ants. Oof. You don't want them putting chemicals in the water to turn their finger red. I don't even know what's going on over at Kick right now, but I'm here for it. Yeah, they have. I'm having them make a drink from abalone. That is, depending on the strength of it, it can stain their whole mouth and face, and anyone else who drinks it like pretty indigo colored or purple. Yeah, I'm assuming that somebody somewhere is gonna be like, "That's racist," and throw emojis at me or something. But for me, it's just these frogs would be using what's cool, and they're like, "Hey, this makes an incredible drink if you do it right." And if it makes no sense to have it like a weird color, we'll make it like stained green or something. It won't be abalone. It'll be just the algae stuff. Because there's no use inviting annoyance from some person somewhere. But then again, it's free gaming. Do what you want. Come up with stuff. You know me, the most annoying, obnoxious, racist person in the world, right? Okay, there we go. Oh, geez, we've already gone through an entire hour here. It didn't even feel like... I was like, what are we doing on time here? Wow. All right, I like the idea of the molten field in the molten area. And I mentioned that there's pylons and machinery and stuff dealing with that too. I'm trying to... I have to put some more stuff... I want to put some more stuff down now about the Soulforged former cities. Whoops. Give them 3 major cities. I'm wrapped up in the brainstorming. Boom! Bam, this is a Wendy's. Bulges all stitched shut practicing hooch-fueled voodoo. Oh. Can you imagine a whole army of, like, zombie bullywigs just wandering around? Da, da, da. All right. Savage Talk, what did you do over there? What did you do? Throwing some stuff down here. Spot removal. Okay, Rory the Romulan. I don't get the Jean-Alik. Or Jean Alec? Jean Luck Pickard? Sorry, one of my favorite things from Next Generation, because I hated the Next Generation so much that with Q making fun of Picard's name. Jean Luck Pickard? Cities. Okay, there we go. Everyone hates goblins. Did the goblins hate goblins? Like, if you're a goblin, do you just turn your head to the camera and break the fourth wall and go, I hate these guys? Okay. So I'm writing down the cities and the idea of a couple of cities in different spots. I think that's what it's going to be on those plateaus, those three major plateaus. That's where the three big cities of the former civilization was. The barbarians usually don't go there because there's a lot of magical contraptions and dangerous things left over they don't want to mess with. The bullywugs and ape men probably leave it alone as well because it's like dangerous. There's nothing useful for them. I mean, they can't make alcohol out of the stuff, and the ape men are like poke it with a stick and it doesn't do anything good. So, and also it's not the best place for hunting and whatnot. So, cities wouldn't be useful. But I also want to have like from down here, this coast. If I'll just go into the map here quickly and pop it up. If you look here, this idea, oh, I gotta straighten out that, or fix that little straight line. That looks a little unnaturally straight there. But this is just a brainstorming tool anyway. That this area out here used to have a bit more of a road. And there was an like a long bridge, like a couple of miles of, you know, this massive architecture because they had this really cool civilization that connected this to there, but it's all crumbled and falling apart now. So there used to be a reason to go out there from this part of the land. And that will, you know, clue people in a little breadcrumb saying, hey, there's the remnant of a bridge going out there and piers and things. And what is all that? And you can see that island out there, you know, encircled in mist and all kinds of stuff because it's still slightly active too, where there's going to be some pretty important stuff. Higher forms of goblins hate lesser goblins. Nice. Anvek really likes playing as goblins. Gross, says Nozaku Boy. Cities for the inhabitants of the island. Yes. So what I was putting down, and oh, that was interesting. I just hit a key and did something. Oh, interesting. It made a whole bunch of stuff pop up on my weird. I just found a key combo I didn't know existed. Places where I want them to be, they're really rough ideas right now. Having the different groups on the island, because I have the four different, where is it? The four different barbarian groups, the ash, the spider, the snake, and the dinos. But I also have the bullywugs, which are mostly going to be in the water. They may have a couple little things near the coast, especially if they have a dock that they can bring one of their little, city things to. And the ape men are going to be much more remote. And the idea of things in this map too, you know, like I said, it's a brainstorming tool. Going in here, you know, it's literally just shows a couple hills or something here. This is, you know, just going to be fantastically deep jungle and crazy stuff because this is, you know, 10 miles or like 5 by 5 miles. That's a 25 square mile area. That's huge, where you could have all kinds of crazy stuff in these little sheltered areas, especially with the way the wind goes and stuff. You're going to get storms coming from all different directions, so they're going to have to find their best spots and the things that make the most sense for them, because, you know, this is mostly sand and dunes and crazy edges and stuff, but there's room for everything all over the place. And it could be fun. But I definitely like the idea of the bullywug people having, like, especially over these slightly deeper areas, having like their big major floating little city out there that's far enough away that people just they can't get to it. It's like, you know, way off the coast. I mean, this is, you know, 10 miles off the coast, and it's a journey to go back and forth. But they have their little things that move around this area here and just kind of circle around the area in the more sheltered cove. They probably have a couple that, you know, will go around here because that way they can pick up debris from shipwrecks. They can pick up sailors, possibly themselves. And they're just always circling around this whole thing, just everywhere. But I'm thinking that maybe at first I wanted the spider people in caves and stuff, but I think the spider guys might be actually cooler to have in the jungle treetops. I'm just trying to figure out if that one makes more sense, because the snakes could get up there too, but the snakes, you know, they like heat and whatnot, so maybe they'd be more in the rocky areas. So icebergs of volcanic glass. Yeah, so the what do you call them? The basalt things I had out there. I was trying to read more up on this because basalt can technically, if it's small and it has enough air trapped in it, it can be like pumice and float a bit, but it's way too dense for the most part. So it would have to be volcanic glass. And if that stuff is also circling through the dead breaks, that's another hazard because you've got spikes of basalt that are falling apart. You've got coral everywhere. And if these chunks of volcanic glass are just floating through the water, they're just bumping into your boat, cutting little bits of out of it. That would be just like, ooh. Yeah. Yep. What they love also kills them. That sounds real. That sounds like a real life thing. What we love kills us. You know, like bacon. Wait, no, bacon doesn't kill you. No, bacon. I want bacon. All right. Yeah, that would be interesting. It would definitely be the most dangerous side to approach the island because that thing would just be spewing out bits and pieces everywhere. So once we get into Savage Shock, once we get into the dwarven kingdoms, we can throw some of the fun stuff in there. Bacon only makes you stronger. I agree. But yeah, I think the war llama being on this island would be a little out of place. Just a guess. I mean, unless the war llama and he both survived the shipwreck. He's everywhere. Crystalline scaled snake type thing. Interesting, like a Quetzalcoatl, but like some crystalline scaled thing. Like obsidian scales or glass scales. Bavarian bacon, yeah. Yeah, and I didn't really get into yet thinking about what the snake god is. I mean, it's not a real god, it's just this ancient, big snake monster. Kind of like, like a kaiju, but not as big as a kaiju. They're just a massive thing that lives there that they worship and, they take strength from or whatever. Think of them more like you consider possibly a patron creature. So, because Erudi and I have been talking about a few different things about the cosmology kind of idea of how things work with patrons and creatures and demons and devils and stuff. So we got a slightly different take that he's going with on some of this. It's going to be interesting. I think it'll be fun. Yeah, these basically are their patron, their totem creature. They're the thing that they can they identify with and get power from. So technically, I mean, if you were a warlock or whatever who came to this island and were like, whoa, what are you? You might be able to make a pact with it. So we might have to think up pacts for these things. I don't know. Something valuable or shiny in volcanic glass and rock that lures adventurers. Yeah, I mean, obsidian's really important, but there could be all kinds of other things in the glass because this place is super duper like crazy magical because the keeper vault and all this other stuff is here, so who knows what's in that stuff. It could contain little bits of crystallized just mana magic. Don't know. Okay. right. I'm going to move this stuff up here once. I want to get that out of this area. And I want to make this a larger... I'll just bold it for now. I'll give it an underline. Just so I remember this is a separate section. So I'm kind of making these guys that were the Soul Forge be a little hedonistic, kind of a... not... I put degenerate, but I don't mean like, you know, Sodom and Gomorrah necessarily, but they're more like they've reached a kind of a really good peak because they're isolated from a lot of war with other people. They could, you know, they had abundant resources. They, you know, had the isolation and the, you know, all the things that they had available. They were allowed to kind of flourish, kind of like in a pre-Atlantean civilization, Etruscans and people. You know, they have their own cool place, their own culture, but they were kind of to the point where, you know, we're humans, we're so amazing, we're so good, and they don't really do a whole lot with the gods. But then when Grix showed up and showed them all that he could do, they were like, we could get even more out of life and all this. And it was just easier for him to kind of convince them, since they were more or less in the mood, and the general population wanted more power and whatever. That kind of it was almost set up for him. But they had all these beautiful like bits of city and stuff that are all now fallen into ruin, you know, kind of like minus Tirith or the ruins on Crete, things like that. They're like, wow, this is pretty advanced, cool looking stuff. You know, aqueducts coming out of the fresh water and the waterfalls and the hills and stuff. They're all now tumbled into ruins after, you know, hundreds of years. And yeah, just overgrown, thrown down. He said that the keepers gave some power to the gods to create their own things. Any chance some of that falling out of their hands onto some inanimate object to make something special? Yeah, so when I was talking about those pylons, I'm trying to figure out, because I think they should have the ability to create things too, but I don't know if that should be keeper-based stuff, or it should literally be the items that are... the effects they can create are limited in scope, because it makes way more sense to have them limited in scope. But having some of that creative stuff around, especially since Grix was doing sort of a perversion of that here, makes some sense. So you could have some interesting items that way. Yeah, some form of worship of the volcano. And we have notes in here that it would make sense for them to have kind of venerated the volcano, used it for power, especially if they had magical ways of like siphoning off that power that's still functioning, that it powers some magical devices. And they're like, yep, volcano's amazing. And that pylon that they could use to kind of like regulate the flow and stuff, it's like a really primitive version of Mustafar, you know, not quite like factory level. More like the ideas of they have a few pylons and things that actually have feeders down into the lava, that it's all shielded magically, but it sucks power and energy out of it to do things. Could be fun. But yeah, I would love to make some living weapons. So a couple of the notes I have in here, I'm not going to go into too much detail, is that he had a couple of attempts before he made the Soul Forged. And they may still be there, you know, failed experiments, so to speak. And some of that stuff might have leaked out, and that might be why there are the patron creatures, the god creatures here. Nobody needs more power from a pylon mod wrench, Crescent. Nice. Very nice. All right, let's see. Go over this in my head for a second here. Trying to think if there's, because you're mentioning that, you know, some more useful things, like something that people want to come after. I mean, the Keeper, the Vault stuff would definitely be a draw if people knew about it. If treasures came back out, that would probably be pretty intriguing to people. If there's any other stuff, I mean, the bullywugs, alcohol and stuff, cool, local. You know, are you going to get a whole load of it back through the storm? Probably not easily. But permanent things like weapons or items or treasures created from that long lost civilization would be pretty cool. It might not have been, it may have been a person running a bot, Chrysanth. It may have been a person who is really bad at speaking English and used the beginning lines that a lot of people use from bots, because that's how people do things. But the fact that it said, you know, homie and all these words, it's like, okay, an interesting intro. I don't think that's how I would start a conversation off. Okay, can save that. Don't hate, homie. Seemed like a bad Google Translate job. It could have been. It could have been going through bot Google Translate. There could be, I don't know, are there gold deposits around volcanoes? I don't know. Let's go look on the internet. The internet just says no. No, I'm kidding. Let's see what it says here. Millions of dollars worth of gold and silver found beneath volcanoes. Okay. So we should all go mine out. Oh, that's interesting. We should all go mine out Yellowstone. Got it. The association of gold mineralization with volcanic geoscience. Acidic flux comes up. It's got all the chemical names of everything. This is something I think that would interest maybe a Chrysanth. It's not molecular biology, but it's, you know, it's some chemistry. There's hot springs, low sulfidation, gold and silver. So magmatic fluid, liquid flow goes up, hot springs. Yeah, it could be found around hot springs and stuff, definitely. But you could actually find it in a few different ways. You could find it in some of the vents. You could find it in a few different places. Ah, very interesting. The frogmen yearn for the volcano tunnels. Nice. Yeah, this one is saying gold concentrations in the water top 20 parts per billion and silver concentrations reach 2,000 or more parts per billion. They're hundreds of meters deep. It says tapping one of the water reservoirs could yield as much as $2.7 million of gold and $3.6 million of silver annually. It may require the development of new mining tech to make it safe. Huh, interesting. Yeah, I'm sure that the barbarians and other people would use it for, you know, jewelry. It's like, ooh, that's pretty. The frogmen. The frogmen. They yearn for the mines. The gold mines. Nice. Sorry, I was looking at the latest iteration of Jarek Thunderaxe. War Llama! So, I have the idea of the volcanic forge or magical forge, whatever it is, that can only be activated by probably somebody who's soul forged. And We've got the idea of, you know, treasures and gold and things, because I mean, the people left everything that they owned behind. So I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff to find in those cities because these guys don't go in there most of the time. But it's also probably incredibly dangerous because you got cheetahs, jaguars, jungle snakes. You've got mosquitoes the size of falcons. You've got everything in there. I'm just gonna write down massive natural predators. The huge mosquitoes, ants, crocs. Actually, wait. And since it's not a cave, could you have large crocs? You'd have huge sharks and things in an area like this. I mean, it's jungly. You could have huge crocs, I guess. Yeah, you could have swamps and deltas and things on the edge. I'm not sure if they'd be crocs or alligators, though, honestly. Are crocodiles on the Nile? Saber-tooth chipmunks? Oh, yeah. Swamp gas. That would be cool. Greedy corporates after the gold. Dwarves. Who else? Crocodile shark. Lots of prehistoric dinos could be present. You know, working in the quarry with Fred Flintstone. Yeah, so the idea is that some of these things can only be operated by the Soulforged, and since there's not really a bloodline left because the people are dead, that the Soulforged are still around, but it takes someone with the soul of a Soulforged and having that magical connection to be able to actually do something there. But yeah, well, and I did make notes that it would be interesting because maybe not everybody took Grix's plan to heart, and some of them fled. Maybe in the turmoil of everything that was going on, he knew some were trying to get away, and he tried to kill them all or destroy them or whatever, but he missed them. And there could have been the idea of the lost ship or the lost flotilla of people fleeing their island, and kind of Battlestar Galactica style, they've spread off in a bunch of different directions, and that somebody somewhere is a descendant of these people. So basically, yeah. Oh, the Dino Riders be descendants of the Soulforged. They could be too. Ooh, blind albino crocodiles. Crocky crocs. Yeah, just thinking there for a second. No, he killed them, and not just the men, but the women and the children. Well, Grix does hate sand and jungles. I hate sand. Blind albino crocodiles in a cave remind me of that movie, The Descent. Minus being crocodiles. There you go. Cocaine crocodiles. Wait, what? No cocaine crocodiles. Yeah, imagine there being all kinds of... When the swamp gas was mentioned earlier, I imagine there being all kinds of natural hazards in these these areas, the lowlands where all this stuff comes down from the upper areas, and there's like, you know, hot vents of gas and stuff spewing things down. You get crazy chemical concoctions floating around in there. It could be you cast one firebolt across this swamp and you're like, oh no, I've lit the swamp on fire. Shambling mounds, large jellies, golems, whatnot, before you realize they need souls. Yeah, right now I have the big creatures aren't his creations necessarily, the patrons, but they are benefits of some of the leaked magical energy. But the other things that I do have, like I said, I'm keeping those a little secret only because they may be used, who knows, in a module at some point. Could be. Brazil has cocaine sharks off the coast. Oh, geez. Another reason not to go to Brazil. Yeah, there should be all sorts of horrifying living weapons. Exactly. You're surprised it wasn't Colombia. Colombia. Greatest Dwarven. The greatest... I like greatest Swarven heroes, though. Crocs. Sharkadil? Sharkadile? Sharkranas? They're sharks, but piranha teeth? I don't know if that really matters, because sharks have a lot of teeth anyway. Maybe it doesn't make sense. Dimetrodon? I've never heard of that. I don't think that was mentioned in the other chat. Oh, wait. It was. Is it... Now, are Dimetrodons the one that have the sail fin kind of on the back of their back that goes up really high, kind of like a bell curve? Oh, okay, yeah. I know this much about dinosaurs, maybe. That's about it. I know they exist in many books, and they're big things with, you know, yappy teeth and small little arms or big long legs and tails and stuff, and they run around and do stuff. Multiple rows of teeth. You know... I wonder if the bullywugs would be friendly with, like, dolphins. Like, maybe they use them to, pull things around, like they kind of work with them. Like they're friendly mounts, friendly helpers, something like that. That could be fun. Not that friendly now. Like they use them to help, you know, carry things around. They pay them in fish or they pay them in whatever to, you know, hey, come over and help us move these things, or hey, come over and help us do this thing. And they're like, here, have some fish. And they just have kind of like that symbiotic relationship where the dolphins might actually be down there. But that's why I'm wondering if dolphins seem too friendly, maybe they use something a little stranger, like maybe trilobites, like those big, huge trilobites, and the trilobites aren't smart or anything, but they use them and they harness them just as like dumb pack animals or something like that. Because those things are ugly and not exactly smart. Now you're making up things. Mosasaurs, what do they do? Park the water? Dinosaurs are about as real as birds. Let's see. All right. Ichthyosaurs, there you go. Workhorses and ambush guard dogs. Oh, there you go. Shark crocodiles. Aren't ichthyosaurs, weren't they really big? Or were ichthyosaurs small? Sharkdillions and they eat tacos? Wait a second. Sharkdillions eating quesadillas? Hey, Dark Intelligence. Playing Path of Titans right now on the Switch while listening. I don't know what Path of Titans is, but cool. I need to find something to play on this because I got myself a new Switch because I gave the one I had loaned to my friend's kids to them as a gift in payment for a bunch of art for the refrigerator because they couldn't afford one. And I lent it to them and I just made it a gift to them finally. But I have one. But you know what I've played on it so far? Nothing. I think it's actually... Does it even have power right now? And remember... I don't think it has power at the moment. Well, look at that. It has no power. We got no power. Oh, no, it has power. Look, a switch. Yeah, the battery goes... Blah. It doesn't seem to keep its battery very long if you don't charge it. Oh, yeah, ichthyosaurs towing their floating cities, yeah. Yeah, I don't want them to have anything too big, though, because I don't want them to be too big and, you know, cool and threatening. Like, ooh, get away. Our ichthyosaurs are going to snap at your heels. If they had something, like, inoffensive, like those trilobites or crabs or something that they use en masse, like, you know, 30, 40, 50 of them and whatever. Kind of like, you know how people get on those little things underwater, the little jet ski, they grab it and they go, and they go zooming. Like, these guys can probably swim pretty fast, but if they get on the back of a trilobite and it just goes, that'd be kind of fun. How big those things supposedly got. They're a frog Cajun Navy. Crabs are very fast swimmers. Nice. Okay. Yeah, so one thing I'm going to look up really quickly here is how big bullywugs and things generally are considered. If they're a small creature, a medium creature, I think they're small, aren't they? Oh, and this one they have them as evil. I don't have them as evil. I don't think they should be evil. Oh man, that art is horrible for them though. Man, they make some crappy art. I used to like some of the bullywug art, bullywugs, whatever they are. But yeah, some of it is just horrible. Huh. Well, we'll see. Maybe we'll come up with our own version of a creature that's like a bullywug, but is not. They got some interesting ones I've seen. Yeah, they just... Some of them, the people make them just look either just stupid, or they make them look like people frogs. Oh, that one's kind of cool. There's a few cool ones out there. Okay, there's some people who can do some interesting art that's not just ridiculous. Huh. I don't know who would play a frog, though. I mean, I don't think those creatures are very cool to play. You'd have to have a weird voice and stuff. Chrysanthiosaurs, they have curly feathers and they're very tiny. Oh my gosh. Shots fired by Savage Talk. Yeah, they're fed. Could go the Cobra LA route, Cobra La route. Have the creatures as part of the structures, like giant millipedes, be bridges, flying bugs as air defense. I'm not sure what Cobra La is, Geno Fury. Oh no, Chrysanth is gonna... Oh, she's coming for you. She put an angry Chrysanth emote in the chat. She's coming after you, Savage Talk. You're done for. Could you imagine going to a bullywug market though? They would have normal stuff like, you know, little jars or whatever they have there filled with, you know, the liquid you can drink of different shades and colors and stuff. They got like little sticky honey sticks that are just coated in bugs. Hey, I don't want any. No, I don't want any of this. Yeah, everything would be writhing. Oof. G.I. Joe, the animated movie. Oh, I've never seen it, Geno Fury. Chrysanthiosaurs. Sorry. Erudi would eat a coated bug stick. Larva pops. Exactly. Exactly. I love it. Oops. Larva might even be safe to eat. You never know. They might be nice and crunchy. Oh, it's got that little pop that goes with the honey. It's very nice. Good thing I didn't already create them. Or did I? I'm scared. I'm very scared. Everybody's scared. Huh. That is funny. They... Now, did you send one of those pictures to Chris Santh, JT? That first one is amazing looking. For whatever reason, I really like the first one. You should send that over to her. It's actually an adorable little creature. The second one with the white background looks like it's wearing curlers. The third one looks like the cross between a Medusa, a little peacock, and a chicken with lizard legs. That's a creepy one. Oh no, you have a better idea. Oh no. I just ate and tuned into this. Bug eating, yeah, we're talking about bullywugs. What they might have in their market in this this island area here. Let me go back up here. Playing around with the idea of, you know, the Isle of Dread, kind of Land of the Lost, primal lost area in the eye of a hurricane, where, you know, dinosaurs and barbarian tribes and volcanoes and mosquitoes the size of birds fly around, and it's incredibly dangerous. Remnants of old civilizations, where Grix found the God Killer weapon in a keeper's vault, and the place where the people who got turned into Soulforge used to live. It was their kingdom. And we're talking about the bullywugs, who have like a little city that's out here floating in the deep part of the depths. It's anchored. It's their bigger city that's a floating raft city with the, you know, hangs way down in the water, and they have floating cities that go around. But this one could have a nice big market, and we were talking about larva pops. You know, a stick coated with this gooey honey stuff. It's just rolled in bug larva. You can buy yourself a treat. And they're also bootleggers. Yes, they make fermented algae alcohol with the heat vents down under the water. They also make another one from abalone, which I'll probably get called a racist for because it makes it a very purple and blue drink. Amazonian women like first gen D&D. It's possible that one of the barbarian tribes could be matriarchal. Like maybe the spider one is? Maybe? Wait, don't you even think about it, JT. Isn't that little thing so cute? If you got sent the very first one standing on the little mossy rock, it's An adorable little creature. Chrysanthemum larva pop once in college for class. About if bug protein works. Mm-hmm. And it didn't. All right, I've got to respond to this really quickly. Boom. There we go. That is amazing. I love it. I love it so much. I love it so much. Well, this has been cool. We got tons of notes on this place. I'm loving it. What, we got about 15 minutes left or so here? Okay. I did make a couple of other notes up here. So the other thing about this place, for anybody who tuned in a little later, is with the hurricane that is ever present here that's been going on, you know, it's kept basically in place by the goddess Thalassa, who's the goddess of the seas and nature and all things aquatic. This is where Grix got the God Killer weapon, and she wanted to, you know, make sure that nobody else could get here. So she covered it with the storms, you know, caused all kinds of tectonic activity that brought up all the basalt splinters and the coral reefs and everything. So if you get sucked in past the hurricane into more of the eye, you get rotated around by the floating bits of black glass icebergs, basalt spires, coral reefs, and if you manage to get past that, you get to this island, which is just this primal hellscape, I suppose you'd say, of barbarian tribes who worship these big monsters, the bullywug cities that nobody attacks because everybody wants their alcohol. The ape man, kind of the primal ape men tribes that nobody wants to mess around with. The dino rider barbarians, the spider barbarians, the snake barbarians, and the ash barbarians that kind of worship the volcano. And keepers vaults and all kinds of crazy stuff. Crazy. Yeah, at that point it would be a one-way trip. Now, that's not to say that on this island, since there's so many powerful things, there isn't, like I said, teleportation, an ability to do something like that. I'm assuming that, you know, there could be a way to get out of here and go to another island that's a little safer, but I think getting out of here would maybe require a magical intervention. Which is probably quite possible because these pylons would, you know, do all kinds of things. You've got like the big pylons, the little pylons. I've got a whole bunch of notes on them, and a few things that they could do, you know, changing the weather around you, very Land of the Lost style. No time travel, but it's possible that there is a way that you could teleport out. Maybe you could never teleport in, but maybe you could teleport out if you actually manage to figure out how the damn thing works. Which might be a whole adventure in and of itself. Yeah, and here the magic, definitely Nozaku, the magic doesn't work quite right around these things too. That's one of the type of pylons was, I don't know how the rules would work, and Erudi would have to come up with those, of it either magic spikes, like it's kind of not like wild magic, but magic is super unpredictable in an area where one of those pylons is going off. Or it could be anti-magic, like you activate one of these pylons and the whole area, like a couple of miles, is just like, no magic. Which would be pretty devastating to a magic-using person. Kind of like, it could just be an EMP that just goes boom, and then it has to charge back up, but for a little while, everybody's just like, crap! We got like 2 minutes of no magic, what the hell? The magic cannon that shoots you off the island. That would be crazy. I'd love it. Now you need sleeve stacks. Well, I'm kind of considering the ape men being kind of those guys, these primal crazy things. We did play with the idea of having, you know, a futuristic version of one who came back through the pylon. They're like, one of those ape men is now like, you know, wearing a gold robe, very Land of the Lost. It might be way too derivative, so I might come up with something better. Ah, all right. Hot air balloon made from a giant lizard turkey comb to escape. Oh my gosh, I like it. Oh, Erudi, yes. Heads up, next week will be the last week of public frost written. After that, it goes to members only. Well, supporters only. Yes, yes, yes. Fed's gonna Fed. So yeah, if you're enjoying it, support up. Support, support, support. I did put fire ants in this island, Erudi. I'm just saying, you know, there may be some fire ants that are the size of like your forearm wandering around on this island, so do not step on them. Just don't. You will not like what happens. But I mean, you'd have to survive getting stranded there first. The barbarian tribes, and then possibly the ape men, and maybe the bullywugs crazy liquor that they make underwater near the heat fence. If you get through all that and then you step on a fire ant hill, then I don't know what to tell you. You'll never explore there. Exactly. But we've got a whole bunch of stuff figured out for bullywugs. So I don't know if you have the idea that you think a bullywug would be a cool race here or not. I like them because they're aquatic. And they're not like a normal humanoid, which is why I kind of went with them. But in this area, they are kind of not hurt by anybody. Nobody wants to hurt the bullywugs and mess with them because they're the ones who make all these kind of alcohol drinks with fermented things under the ocean near the heat fence. So all the barbarian tribes want to trade with them to get the really good alcohol. They're like, nope, we're never going to attack you. You give us alcohol and stuff. So they're pretty much safe free traders that go around. So I think they'll be fun. But somebody came up with the idea that I was talking about, you know, a stick with bugs on it. They come up with the idea. I think it was Rory. Was it Rory who came up with the idea of the name of them called larva pops? Like, oh, God, that's disgusting. Oh, honestly, of the dragons, I still love, for whatever reason, I love the idea of the sapphire dragons moving through the sand, like bullet style or whatever, just moving through the sand and then erupting. I don't know why. It's just that really tickled my fancy, quite honestly. I mean, I like dragons a lot, and I liked all the dragons, but those dragons still, for whatever reason, popped into my head is like, yeah, I want to see one of those things. But that could just be me. Could be me. I don't know if other people have other thoughts. If they were like, oh, I want one of these as a pet. Where was the what was the other thing here? Where was Oh, that's my feedback. Because I made myself a note here. Where was it? There was another one. Where were the diamond ones? Is it the diamond ones? Yeah, it was the diamond ones. Because I like white dragons because they freeze, but the diamond dragons incapacitating people without destroying them, I was like, that is cool. A feline named the JJ, gifting a Moonskull membership to the Fractured Filter. Larva Pop, 10 out of 10, would eat again. Erudi's Yelp review. Oh. Sevy the Savage, Queen of the Fire Ants. Oh no. Bug your parents for a Larva Pop. Oh, these just keep going. They're horrible. They just, oh my God. JT did come up with the idea of the Chrysanthiosaur, a little feathered creature with big curly feathers, and he came up with some AI pictures. It's the cutest little dinosaur ever. He should, JT, you should share that with your Erudi too. I don't know what you use them for, but they'd be amazing to just have in there somewhere. They're just adorable. If you could do merchandising, there you go. Chrysanthiosaur plushies are going to be a win. Okay, they're not on Discord. Okay, excellent. Good. Where did you... Oh, you threw them in the live stream fan art. Oh, that is awesome. Yep. They're just so adorable. Though the one that with the white background looks like it belongs on Golden Girls. it looks like the older lady, the one that's supposed to be the mom. She just needs a pair of glasses. Yeah, the little curly-headed one. They're amazing. I love them. So Erudi, I sent you all that stuff earlier in Discord. I'm sure you probably saw it, but I was playing around with the map for the brainstorming, and so I played around with it in this program, and it's really helping me just kind of visualize stuff, even if this has no relation to an eventual anything. The program's fun to just kind of come up with ideas, and it spurred a whole bunch of ideas on, which was nice. And I think I'm gonna keep playing around with that. It's just as a brainstorming aid. It's pretty fun. It does look like it should be on Golden Girls. Yeah, doesn't it? I can't even remember the old lady's name. But yeah, it just reminded me of her for whatever reason. I think because she had that poofy little head of permanent hair. It was hilarious. Oh man, it looks like we're almost done here, aren't we? We got 3.5 minutes left. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna call this good here. Thank you all for coming along. Lots of fun bantering back and forth, and we got rid of a bot and Kick who may not have been a bot, but was Google translating everything so bad it didn't make any sense. So good job, Savage Shock. I applaud your abilities. It's so much easier than just banning someone. It's so much more fun. It was entertaining. And I got like many pages of notes on this place, and I have more pages of notes that were on some things that I didn't put out here because I just wanted to keep that stuff separate. If occasionally, do a module or something in this area. And if you could do me a favor, not only hit the like button, that's awesome, make sure you comment. Because that will, like they said, help us with the algorithm and get all kinds of more eyes on everything. So comment on something that you thought was crazy, something you liked, something you didn't like. Respond to our comments, whatever you want to do, but please comment. It'll make me so sad if you don't. You don't want to see me sad, because I'll probably look exactly the same, but I'll be sad because I don't have emotions. Something like that. Oh, I'm getting a phone call, of course. Hey, Scam Likely. You think it's the bot from Kick? Hopefully it's not the bot from Kick. But anyway, next week, Tuesday, we're going to be doing this again. I don't have an agenda for what I want to work on next, but we'll see. I might be going back to the Godlands, or I may be working on the Dwarven lands. I'm not sure yet. You hate that guy. Yeah, me too. Not a fun person to deal with at all. You gave it my number. How nice of you, JT. Thank you very much. I'm going to sign you up for so many lingerie magazines. Couldn't think of anything else. I was going to say Field and Stream, but that didn't seem bad. Maybe the lingerie magazine doesn't bad at all either. I don't know. I'm going to sign you up for Jehovah's Witnesses. They're going to come visit you now. All right. On that note, I think we're going to call this done. We're going to get out of here, and I'm going to let you all get back to doing things that are not watching me write and come up with weird ideas. I have guns. Okay, Savage Shock. Good luck with that. All right. I am going to kick this over to the ending. I'm going to swoosh, and I will talk to you all. I'll see you Cthulhu on Monday. I will see you here on Tuesday, but please comment, and comment.